morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is English Bulletin with me, Yutsa Bhatrai. The top stories first. Health Ministry says salaries of medical professional untouched. Spokesperson informs 630 tests performed in 24 hours. Government to monitor quarantine facilities set up at local level. Inspections to determine if the quarantine setup meets WHO standard. World faces worst economic fallout since Great Depression. IMF all set to release its World Economic Outlook on Tuesday. UN Security Council meets over coronavirus. This is a 15-member body struggling to act. And La Liga giants Barcelona to face major setbacks as board member resign. Board members accuse the club of mismanagement. And now, the news in detail. The relief fund set up for the coronavirus has not been drawn on the remunerations of the health professional, Ministry of Health and Population has informed. Talking to the media in the scheduled press meet yesterday, spokesperson of the Health Ministry, Dr. Vikas Devkota, informed although the Cabinet earlier decided that all government employees will contribute their 3 to 7 days salary in the Corona Relief Fund set up by the government, remunerations of health professionals have not been deducted and will not be deducted in the future.
11 गतेको मन्त्री परिषदको निर्णय अनुसार विभिन्न तहका कर्मचारीहरूले 3 देखि 7 दिनसम्मको तलब कट्टी गरेर कोषमा राख्ने जुन निर्णय भएको छ त्यसमा हामीले स्वास्थ्य तथा जनसङ्ख्या मन्त्रालयको तर्फबाट चिकित्सक तथा स्वास्थ्य कर्मीहरूलाई यो कट्टी गर्ने निर्देशन जारी गरेका छैनौं र हालसम्म यो कट्टी पनि गरिएको अवस्था छैन। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि सबैले उच्च मनोबलका साथ काम गर्न चाहिँ स्वास्थ्य तथा जनसङ्ख्या मन्त्रालय हार्दिक अपील गर्दछ।
Spokesperson Devkota informed that the total number of COVID-19 tests has reached 3,524. He further informed the press that a total of 630 tests were completed in 24 hours, of which 401 were performed within the valley and 229 were performed outside.
आजसम्ममा कुल 3,524 वटा टेस्ट भएका छन्। नयाँ टेस्ट आज 630 वटा भएका छन् गत 24 घण्टामा। त्यसमा काठमाडौँ उपत्यकामा 401 वटा र काठमाडौँ बाहिर 229 वटा भएका छन्।
Spokesperson Devkota informed that a total of 339 samples from Kailali, 137 samples from Kanchanpur, 19 from Baglung and 21 from Kapilvastu, none yielded a COVID-19 positive result. Currently, more than 800 samples are in the process of testing up until now, spokesperson Devkota added. 8,660 people are in quarantine and 125 people are in isolation all across Nepal. The government will monitor and examine the quarantine facilities set up by the local level and other offices. The government is set to examine the quarantine facilities to ascertain if the setup is in accordance to the World Health Organization standard with all the necessary arrangement. State Minister for Urban Development Rambir Manandar informed that the examination of the quarantine facilities is being performed since it is a mandatory action as prescribed by the government's quarantine management operational manual.
क्वारेन्टाइन को विषयलाई चाहिँ हाम्रो विभिन्न छलफलको विषयसँग जोडेकोले यसलाई एकचोटी निरीक्षण साच्चै नै यसलाई व्यवस्थापन गर्न जस्तो कि भक्तपुर त मलाई लाग्छ हेर्नै जानु पर्दैन त्यो हामीले जुन चाहिँ राखेर चाहिँ गरिसकेको र अर्कोलाई व्यवस्थापकीय ढङ्गबाट जानुको लागि त्यो त्यसको रिपोर्ट पनि राज्यले चाहे सरकारले चाहे र त्यसपछि खर्चका विवरणहरू त्यसपछि दिने कुराहरू भयो।
The quarantine facilities will be inspected from today in accordance to the directions given by government to State Minister duo Rambir Manandar and Navaraj Rawat. In other news, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli held a telephone conversation with his Indian counterpart Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday. Prime Minister Oli informed the conversation focused on taking joint and coordinated actions against the containment of novel coronavirus in both nations. Both the nations have also agreed on giving continuity to the import of essential goods throughout the crisis, Prime Minister Oli has shared in his Twitter handle. Similarly, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also tweeted about the telephone conversation with Prime Minister Oli. Narendra Modi's Twitter account reads, "Spoke today with the Prime Minister of Nepal, Shri KP Sharma Oli. We discussed the prevailing situation due to COVID-19. I appreciate the determination of people of Nepal to fight this challenge. We stand in solidarity with Nepal in our common fight against COVID-19. Both the leaders have also agreed to take care of each other's citizens stranded at either side of the border due to lockdown," PM Oli further tweeted. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The bustling streets of the capital still remained quiet yesterday, even after 18 days of the nationwide lockdown. According to the Metropolitan Police Office Rani Pokhari, more than 2,146 people have been taken into temporary custody for violating the lockdown, of which 451 are women. The Metropolitan Police Office Rani Pokhari's Chief DIG Bishwaraj Pokhrel informed that the violators were apprehended from New Baneshwar, Gausala, Kalimati, among other places. The police personnel have been holding violators on the streets for over 2 hours on case-by-case basis. The police have also taken 388 vehicles into custody for breaking the lockdown protocol. The police have been urging everyone to stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, police has detained more than 2,146 individuals in Kathmandu Valley for defying COVID-19 lockdown orders. According to the data provided by Metropolitan Police Office Rani Pokhari, more than 2,146 individuals have been detained for violating lockdown orders. The data provided also states that 461 are women. The flouters were taken in custody from Kalimati, Naya Baneshwar, Gausala and other different sections of Kathmandu, informed DIG Bishwaraj Pokhrel, Chief of Metropolitan Police Office Rani Pokhari. Police have been keeping the rule breakers on 2 hours of hold, also known as open detention, before their release to increase the adherence to lockdown practices. Many pedestrians were seen on the road stating that the lockdown has been eased on Friday, stated DIG Pokhrel. Similarly, police has also seized 388 vehicles for defying the COVID-19 orders. Police has also requested individuals to stay home throughout the lockdown period unless emergency. Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has presented a relief proposal for farmers and agronomists in the Cabinet. Minister for Agriculture and Livestock Development Ghanshyam Bhusal tabled the proposal among the Council of Ministers to provide relief packages to farmers affected by the COVID-19 lockdowns. The relief will be distributed promptly once the proposal is passed by the Cabinet, informed Minister Bhusal. The ministry has proposed to compensate the dairy farmers with 10 rupees per litre of unsold milk. Similarly, the ministry has also decided to provide 60 rupees for broiler chicken and 120 rupees for layer chicken each to the poultry farmers breeding up to 5,000 chicken in the poultry. For the vegetable farmers, the ministry has said the compensation will be decided as per the recommendation of local administration. And now, the news from Economic Front. The global coronavirus pandemic is causing an economic crisis unlike any in the past century and will require a massive response to ensure recovery, AFP reported, citing International Monetary Fund Chief Kristalina Georgieva. According to the French news agency, IMF chief warned that global growth will turn sharply negative in 2020, with 170 of the International Monetary Fund's 180 members experiencing a decline in per capita income. In fact, we anticipate the worst economic fallout since the Great Depression, AFP quoted the IMF chief as saying in a speech ahead of next week's spring meetings of the IMF and World Bank. Even in the best case scenario, the IMF expects only a partial recovery next year, assuming the virus fades later this year, allowing normal businesses to resume as the lockdowns imposed to contain its spread are lifted, she said. But it could get worse, and there is tremendous uncertainty around the outlook and the duration of the pandemic. Countries already have taken steps worth combined 6 trillion. The IMF is all set to release its World Economic Outlook on Tuesday with green forecast for its members for this year and next. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. The United Nations Security Council met for the first time on Thursday to discuss the coronavirus pandemic, Reuters reported. According to the news agency, the 15-member body charged with maintaining international peace and security struggled to agree on whether it should take any action. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres privately briefed a virtual council meeting on the disease, which has so far infected more than 1.6 million people, killing 98,000 in more than 200 countries and territories, according to Worldometer. The pandemic also poses a significant threat to the maintenance of international peace and security, potentially leading to an increase in social unrest and violence that would greatly undermine our ability to fight the disease, Guterres told the Council. Diplomats have largely blamed a Security Council's inaction over the pandemic on the United States and China. Beijing has been reluctant for the Council to get involved, arguing it was not within its mandate. Washington has insisted that any Council actions refer to the origins of the virus, much to the annoyance of China. The new coronavirus, which causes the respiratory illness COVID-19, first emerged in the Chinese city of Wuhan late last year. Chinese doctors at the primary hospital treating severe coronavirus patients in the city of Wuhan said they have been using HIV drugs Kaletra since January. According to Reuters, the hospital believes it is beneficial despite a previous study that it was ineffective. They have been prescribing Kaletra, an off-patient version of Lopinavir, as well as a second drug, bismuth potassium citrate, said Zhang Dingyu, the president of Xinjiang Hospital in Wuhan, where the disease originated late last year. We believe taking this drug is beneficial, Zhang told reporters on Thursday in reference to Kaletra. He said doctors at Xinjiang had started prescribing the drug to their patients on January 6. It was one of the first hospitals to start treating infections after the coronavirus emerged in Wuhan in December. Last month, Israel approved the licensing of a generic version of Kaletra to treat patients infected with the coronavirus. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been recovering in hospital from COVID-19 as he was taken out of the intensive care unit. The 55-year-old leader came out of 3 nights of intensive care at St. Thomas Hospital on Thursday. He was admitted there after suffering from a high temperature and cough. The Prime Minister is back on a ward and continuing his recovery, which is at an early stage, his spokesman told reporters. According to the spokesperson, the hospital said that he was in extremely good spirits. Johnson was the first world leader to be hospitalized with coronavirus forcing him to hand control to Foreign Minister Dominic Raab just as Britain's situation worsened drastically. The death toll is 7,978, the fifth highest in the world in UK. Despite his conditions improving, it remained unclear how long Johnson would be incapacitated. His spokesman said his recovery was only just beginning and he would take advice from the medical team. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Spanish football giants FC Barcelona dealt a serious blow yesterday after 6 of its board members resigned, citing club management issues. All 6 board members quit and reportedly told Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu that they were disappointed at how the club is being managed recently. According to BBC, the board members also issued a joint letter where they have expressed concerns over the financial implications of the coronavirus crisis for the club. The board members have also criticised the handling of a scandal by the club in February, which the club denied hiring firm to attack its own players on social media. The board members had earlier also called for Barcelona's new presidential elections. Emily Rosand and Enric Tombas, 2 of the club's 4 vice presidents, quit alongside 4 directors: Silvio Elias, Josep Pont, Jordi Casalmelga and Maria Telexodor. BBC has quoted the joint letter issued by the board members, which reads, "We have arrived at this point because we cannot reverse the way the club is managed in the face of important challenges in the future, especially in the post-pandemic era." The club has also issued a statement in response to the resignation, where the club said they have come about due to a reorganization of the board put forward by Bartomeu, which will be completed in the next few days. Barcelona players will take a 70% pay cut during the coronavirus pandemic and make additional contributions to ensure non-sporting staff receive full wages. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Health Ministry states salaries of medical professionals untouched. A spokesperson informs 600 tests performed in 24 hours. Government to monitor quarantine facilities set up at local level. Inspections to determine if the quarantine setup meets WHO standard. World faces worst economic fallout since Great Depression. IMF all set to release its World Economic Outlook on Tuesday. UN Security Council meets over coronavirus. 15-member body struggles to act. And La Liga giants Barcelona to face major setbacks as the board members resign. Board members accuse the club of mismanagement. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow and prescribe by the safety guidelines described by the Nepal government and World Health Organization. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.